Alright, so today we're replacing a front shock on a Jeep Grand Cherokee. As you can see, this one is pretty rusted out. So right here at the bottom there's two 13mm bolts. And then as far as the top goes, if you look inside here, underneath these things, get a better shot there. You can see where the end of that bolt is. That's the top of the shock. See if I can get a focus on that. So that's the top of the shock, and so you have to unscrew that. If you look at the passenger side, you can get a better clip of it. So it's something that looks like that. Anyway, the top nut on that one is a 9/16, and then basically what I do is I grab onto it with a wrench, and then when you start turning it, this part right here, this guard for the shock, will start turning as well. So usually grab onto that with a pair of channel locks to keep it from spinning. And I just rotate the top and the shield independently of each other to get them taken off. So I'm going to show you a trick. I have the wrench kind of kinked right there between the engine, and then the other end, you probably can't see it very well, is down there on the nut. And so the wrench isn't going anywhere. But now that I've broken it loose with a pair of channel locks, just grabbing onto that and twisting it, I can twist the whole thing with my hand. And so that, since the wrench up top is staying still, this is just unscrewing the nut from the top of it. It's a lot easier than trying to maneuver that wrench inside of all that. There's not a whole lot of space to maneuver up there. And now that the nut's off the top, I can just take this out by hand and just kind of compress it a little bit and then move it around. So the reason I take off the top first is because right there didn't give me enough room to put my the socket for my wrench on there. But now that the top's out, I can move it left and right and give me enough room to put each side in. So that's how I do it. So we're just putting the shock in right now. On the other side, these bolts, when I was taking off the shock, just twisted completely in half. So I went ahead and bought some more bolts. It was only like $5, and it's better to be safe than sorry. So even though these bolts came out in one piece, I'm putting the other bolts in. The size was the M8 1.25 by 30mm. And then it's got the washers and nuts to go with it. So I'm going to tighten those in, once again leaving this disconnected so I can tip it left and right, so I can have room to get the wrench in there. Okay, so it doesn't really matter, which side of the shock goes out. I usually just put the one with the letters and stuff out, so whoever needs to come in and order another shock or whatever can read which kind it is. And then also remember that the guard right here is always on the top, just so like when water and stuff comes down, it runs off of the shock instead of being stored down inside the protector. So right before you put it up inside the mount on the top end, make sure you put your little bushings on and just kind of pull it down and then let it go up into the end of the top there. And it does come with a new nut, so it doesn't matter what you do with the old ones. Here we got the passenger side. You can see that I had to replace those two bolts down there at the bottom because they broke apart. I was trying to take off the shock. There's the top part of it. There you go. It's all attached up in there. And down there I have the washer and the nut and the other the black rubber thing that holds it all in place. So that's how you do the shocks on a Jeep Grand Cherokee. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. I do end up putting videos up on YouTube about every week or so. A lot to do with Jeeps, cell phones, technology, how to fix random stuff. Anyway, so if you like them, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, thanks.